Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who don't know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. If anybody's not aware of this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategic or compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, we're going to be looking at MMTLP and an updated new Congress campaign. We're also going to be looking at the problem with Wall Street and how that is impacting the MMTLP fight. We're also going to be doing stock updates on ticker symbol GME, where there has been some significant news, and also doing another update for ticker symbol FFIE. So stay tuned for that, and also looking at the squeeze on FFIE, and also the stock is currently just down 50%, and we're going to be looking at reasons for that. So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So first headline here from Stock Market News, we can see that Jerome Powell has just tested positive for COVID-19, so he will not be delivering his comments. But from Market Watch, we can see in terms of inflation, there is more good news on inflation, although Americans may be having a hard time believing it. So purchasing power for the average household has increased, but higher earners are still coming out on top. So what we can see here in terms of the breaking news from investing.com, the Fed's Bowman has repeated that she is willing to hike rates if needed, and she has not yet seen further progress on inflation. So we are looking for more updates on inflation, hopefully as soon as possible. And also from Stock Market News, news with regard to Microsoft and AMD. So good news here, especially for AMD. And Microsoft has stated that they are planning to offer the cloud computing customers a platform of AMD AI chips that will compete with the components made by NVIDIA. So NVIDIA will be taking a hit from AMD, and I believe AMD has responded positively. But in other news with regard to Google, we can also say it is currently trading at all-time highs and currently a great stock for the long term. So let's now have a look at ticker symbol GME, also known as GameStop. So headline here from Yahoo Finance, we can see that these stocks ripped higher than GameStop in the meme rally. We know GameStop is now going through a sell-off, but there is another stock that did much better than GameStop. But before we do that, let's have a look at one of the reasons why GameStop is currently having a sell-off. So the news here, according to David Lauer, that we've just seen earlier today, is that they have filed to sell up to 45 million shares and entered into an open market sale pact. So we can see here that the SEC filing there has been released, up to 45 million shares, common A, Class A common stock for GameStop. So the impact there has been negative in terms of the share price. Well, let's move on to have a look at the other stocks that have been doing much better than GameStop, and one we're going to be focusing on now is ticker symbol FFIE, and we can see also known as Faraday Future. This is an EV stock, and it is on pace to gain approximately 7,900% over the previous week, and this is a stock that has also been called in our Discord. So before we delve further into FFIE, let's have an update from Dennis with regard to MMTLP, and what he stated is, please listen and forward this to your friends and foes and change their lives. So he's talking about the problems of Wall Street, and the quotation here is, the problem is not gambling on the stock market. The problem is that Wall Street giants have wielded an unfair advantage over individual retail investors instead of serving them well. And while Wall Street fat cat investors are wagging a finger at GameStop and AMC fans right now, the Wall Street guys are in the stock too. So I do think many of them probably will be shorting the stock. But let's now move on to have a look at the updated campaign in terms of Congress. So shout out here to Hollywood Henry, who stated, tagging in the letter from obviously to Congress, dated December the 22nd, 2023, and this letter from Congress was addressed to Gary Gensler and Robert Cook. I don't believe we had an update on this yet, but what Henry has stated is that in this letter signed by 74 members of Congress, they stated that 40,000 letters from constituents have been sent for MMTLP. So let's now focus on the fourth letter campaign. So we would like to get this number to close to 100,000 letters, currently at 51,857, but the highlighted here section here that was obviously focused by Congress, addressing Robert Cook and addressing Gary Gensler, is confirmation at the bottom in red. Specifically, we have received more than 40,000 letters from concerned investors. So I do believe we'll do an update from Robert Cook and an update from Gary Gensler in response to this, because I think the responses so far have been quite pathetic. Let's now delve a little bit deeper into FFIE, also known as Faraday Future, and we can see here that this is a stock that has been closely followed in our Stock Alerts channel prior to trading each day this week in the Discord, and we also shared news with regard to the delay in the 10Q filing that happened. So let's have a look at the key updates. So first of all, we can see from Investor Place that the company have delayed the 10Q filing amid the short squeeze rally. So the stock has been surging, and the run-up has been quite exceptional. But in terms of the delay, we can see that they have filed their quarterly 10Q forms to include unaudited financial statements and are supposed to provide investors with a continuing view of the company. So the SEC does require these to be provided, but the company have said they will not be able to do that right now by the deadline, so we will be watching that carefully. But in terms of the rally, we can see the stock was changing hands at around about $2.65 per share, close to $3, and before that we know it was trading well below $1. So the other news with regard to this, we can see the stock was suspended, and that was suspended after it shot up close to 5,240%. But let's now have a look at the actual run up. So if we look at the 5-day chart here, we can see here at one point the stock was up in excess of 8,309%, and that's from trading from Monday. And if you now have a look at the next chart, we can just identify at time of editing a huge sell-off where it is down in excess of 50%. So we're close to $4, currently trading at $1.91, so a huge decline. However, it's still up on the day. Ticker symbol FFIE. So in stocks like these, it's always a good idea to protect profits, and obviously either take out profits where you can as well. So we can see a huge sell-off here. We will still be watching FFIE, so if you would like to get due diligence and also a copy of our daily stock alerts as well as the weekly watch list, details are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.